Greetings and salutations. We are live once again here on Truthseekers. Tonight, we're going to be exploring an incredible mystery. I love a great mystery, don't we all? And tonight, we're going to be exploring an incredible mystery. This story is quite possibly one of the strangest I have encountered. There's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of eyewitness testimony, which makes it very compelling to me. And it's just an amazing story. This, my friends, is the story of baby Aloyshenka. This took place in Russia. And I first heard about this story years ago and have been fascinated with it ever since. In fact, I reached out to a UFO investigator in Russia, whose name is Igor Romanovsky, to try to get additional information. And I had corresponded with him several times about this case to try to see if we could get additional information. And tonight we'll unpack some of that. So, as the story goes, an elderly Russian woman found what she believed to be a baby, an abandoned baby, in the forest near her home. She took it home, she cared for it for a time, but then was hospitalized. And I believe, and this I think may be relevant to the story, she was hospitalized in a mental hospital. Because of her advanced age, she was suffering some dementia, things like that. And while hospitalized, she told the people, I have a baby at home. And they just thought that she was a little off her rocker. The woman's daughter saw the baby as well and was terrified of it. And while the mother was in the hospital, went to check on the baby left in the apartment. They called it a flat. And the baby had passed away. But the story gets stranger because this was not an ordinary baby. By any stretch of the imagination, this was not a normal baby. There's a few possibilities here. Some people seem to think this baby could have been a deformed human because of the nuclear accidents that happened in the area the baby was discovered some years prior. There had been birth defects and things of that nature. And sadly, it is common in poor Russian farming communities that if you have a deformed baby, you sort of take it somewhere and abandon it. It's a sad thing, but it does happen. Was it a human baby, though? Folks, this story gets stranger and stranger the more you dig into it. I thought we would begin the presentation tonight with really what I think was the best coverage that I was able to find on this particular case. And this is from Quest TV. If you're not aware of Quest TV, they do all kinds of strange stories, and I really enjoy their content, so you should support them. We're going to be citing fair use tonight and playing some clips. Well, we're going to be playing, I think it's like a 7-minute video, but I'll be stopping it with commentary and comment along the way. We are citing fair use here because we are using this clip from Quest TV to educate the public about the strange story of baby Aloyshenka. Again, we'll be educating the public. I'm going to be critiquing, and we're going to be discussing in the live chat the contents of this video clip, which we will be watching together. So this is fair use. 1 second, friends. I have this queued up. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. Oh, 1 second. I have to do that again. Make sure I share the audio. And this is called The Bizarre Case of the Mummified Alien Baby Found in Russia, from their Unexplained Files series. I thought that this was the most excellent coverage because they speak, there is the actual eyewitnesses and people that were involved in the case all through this video. Some of the secondary sources, people have made other videos where they just sort of tell the story, but it's not the firsthand direct witnesses. And I thought, for the purposes of our show tonight, I would rather get as close as to the source material, the witnesses, the eyewitnesses, as we could possibly get. So again, we're going to cite fair use. We're educating the public about this story. Let's check it out. So the first sequence of DNA just is a human female, and most likely, I'm not sure they did additional testing, but they believe that it belonged to the old woman. But the second set of DNA, the scientists doing these tests claimed was unknown to science. I would be very interested in seeing more on that DNA sample. But I believe at the time, remember this happened in 1996, DNA technology may not have been up to the task of really correctly identifying whatever DNA sequence they found. But that's very tantalizing to me because there's some crazy science there saying it's DNA, but it's an unknown species to our science. And remember that these DNA labs have these huge databases that they run the DNA sequence through, which generally will come back and tell them human, chimpanzee, whatever, cow DNA, dog DNA. And it's very common that things are misidentified. We see this with Bigfoot cases all the time. People claim it's Bigfoot hairs. We find out it's a black bear hair, But in this case, they were unable to determine the source of the DNA.
So could Aloyshenka's DNA be the first ever example of an extraterrestrial genome?
Very, very interesting. And again, I reached out to my Russian source who told me that he had been unable to get to more specific information about the DNA tests. But he and I just spoke, and he said that he is going to try again. He tried some time ago, got nowhere looking for the DNA. He's also going to be reaching out to the person that did the actual scientific tests and get them in touch with us here, hoping maybe we can get an interview with that Russian scientist, because I, for one, I have 100 questions for him. And, I want to talk to the guy that did the DNA tests. I want to find out, what is the details of the DNA sequence? Were they able to sequence it? Could they look at the DNA and see if it bears resemblance to a human, if it bears resemblance to a monkey? What is the closest that match to the DNA that they found? Because there have been some hoaxes where it turned out that a claimed alien creature turned out to be a marmoset monkey. And that was one of the hoaxes courtesy of Jaime Maussan, alien hoaxer extraordinaire. So I would like to see if maybe it bears resemblance to... One second, friends. Oh, we haven't opened the phone lines. Somebody's calling in, but the call dropped. So I'm not sure what that's about. Please wait until after the presentation before calling, friends. I got to remember to turn the phone off until we open the phone lines. So yeah, I'd really like to talk to that scientist. Now, I found one other really good source material for seeing the creature, because I think it's, this is a strange thing, and it's kind of like a carnival show, right? You want to see the money shot. You want to see the creature. And There are some pictures online, but I have found some sourcing that show the creature better. And I wanted to share that because it's important that we get a good look at this thing. So again, I'm going to cite fair use. I'm going to cite fair use. I went black for 1 minute. Okay. I'm not sure why we went black. Is everything okay now? Out of mind, you called because it went black for a moment. I'm not sure what that's about, friends. Sorry about that. Not sure what that's about at all. I am going to shut some things down. Maybe this memory. Yeah, friends, sorry. I'm not sure. Jeanette Krasenko says it's the algorithm. I've seen people get pulled. In that case, they were given permission and yet it pops back up. Yeah, it could be because we were playing that clip. It could be because we were playing a clip. We once got blacked out for playing a clip. So, let's... oh, it said I broke the rules. So, yeah, we got another one of those things about, this stuff is getting ridiculous. I cited fair use before we played it. We'll be able to deal with that later, friends. So, yeah. UFO Gandalf says, that YouTube was mean to you. Now I'm kind of like hesitant. Do I want to share another clip? But yeah, we're gonna roll ahead and share another clip. I just wanted to mention that these copyright claims are, it's like nobody believes in fair use anymore. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. This is the legal definition of fair use. We're discussing the clip that we're playing. I stopped it every once in a while to comment or, it is what it is, friends. Please don't worry about that little hiccup. Let's just move forward with our presentation here. And, I'll probably be firing off another copyright claim letter after this story came back. Pete Dini says, hey, Pete. Pete is an old friend of mine. Boy, I could tell Pete. Couldn't I tell some stories about our adventures in rock band land? Yeah, one time we did. Pete and I were never in a band together, but his band and my band would play the same shows together. And one time we rented a U-Haul, and it was all of us. We were like kids, and we like 4 or 5 bands rented a U-Haul, and we put all that shit in the back of the U-Haul, and then it's the middle of summer. We all drove like at 40 minutes or a half hour in the back of a U-Haul with no windows, and I almost died. I got like heat stroke. It was horrible, but it's good to see you, Pete Dini. But Pete is on Facebook, and Facebook did not cut it. So we'll see what we have to do to fix it later, friends. So I'm going to cite fair use again, and we're just going to play a very short clip from this next piece. And this is titled "The Baby Aloyshenka," and it has some excellent views of the actual creature that we didn't see in the first bunch of clips. So,
and contacted Bendlin for information on the creature. This prompted him to record footage of him inspecting the body. It shows the body and its size in relation to Bendlin's hand as he moves and turns it over, and from the manner it is observed, we can see that no one had a clear idea of exactly what this small entity was. These initial reports eventually generated increased media attention as television reporters and newspaper journalists began to visit Karlovy to find out more about the Kaishdem alien.
Yeah, this, my Russian friend Igor tells me, was huge all over the television. Every journalist was trying to get interviews. Every journalist was trying to get access to the alien to film it. And there is a good deal of photographic and filmed, filmed pieces showing this alien, which is, at least we have good photographic evidence of the creature and good film of the creature, even though the body of the creature apparently has disappeared.
And it was evident that anyone who knew anything could be interviewed. There are reports of locals who would corroborate or sell any information they had for a good price, and many journalists lapped it up. Even the Japanese broadcasting corporations MTV Japan and Asahi TV did an editorial on Aloyshenka,
No, that's
and in the
interesting.
words of one journalist, threw money at anyone who could tell them about the alien. Many locals even went so far as to accuse Tamara Jr. and Nildenov of orchestrating the whole thing.
Yeah, so some of the locals claimed that this was a hoax that they used. Some of the locals claimed that the family that came up with this story, the old woman and the daughter-in-law, made the story up to make money. But Igor told me that except for the interviews that they've done about it, which he believes they mostly were not paid for, they have not really profited from the story. So just some more information that was sort of shared with me by this Igor, pointing me into some good directions. Okay, so Dr. Irina Yermolova, one of the initial researchers who had seen the body firsthand, recanted her original 1997 statement and declared that there was nothing alien about the body. First, she said that it was not a human. And I believe she was a biologist. Okay, and she said about the creature that, however, it was no hoax, but a genuine mummified body that was once living tissue. She found that the state of the body corroborated with numerous cases of miscarried fetuses often found within 20 to 25 weeks of development. So first she says that it's an alien. Later she recants her statement and says that the state of the body corroborated with numerous cases of miscarried fetuses that are 20 to 25 weeks old. This researcher also claimed that she had counted a complete human rib cage and ample shoulder girth and wrist bones, and whilst indeed the head was the strangest aspect of the body, she explained that it could have been incompletely formed during fetal development. Just an interesting part of the story. And in her expert opinion, Dr. Yermolova stated that the body was deformed as a result of radioactive fallout, which had enormously affected the area of Kishtim following the nuclear disaster in 1957. Yes, and it's relevant to this story that there was a nuclear fallout incident right in this town in 1957. And yes, radiation lasts that long. Apparently, it caused very high cancer rates in the area and also a great deal of birth defects. So this scientist is attributing this to a human deformed fetus that was caused by the radiation fallout. She further stated that she believed the infant had been born prematurely or was likely miscarried, and that the distraught mother might have abandoned it in the forest for Tamara Sr. to find. However, one person did not agree with her findings, and that was Bendlin's clinical assistant, Lubov Romanowa. According to her, numerous children with deformities and premature birth defects were nothing compared to what she had seen in the infant's body. She described that Aloyshenka was simply not of human origin and could note at least 20 different features which she stated were not commonly found in deformed human children. There were many differences in the head, and there were a lot of sharp edges in the skull cavity, something never found in human children's skulls. She insisted that human fetuses could not live for more than a few hours once exposed. And remember, this is Russia. It's freezing cold outside. Most areas of Russia, it's freezing cold outside. And I agree with that I don't think a human baby could survive very long left in the woods out in the elements, especially if it was born prematurely. Experts insist that Aloyshenka was nothing more than an underdeveloped fetus. There is a testament from Tamara Jr. that the baby was alive and able to consume food, an impossibility for a human child of that age. So even so, the Kishtim alien was still making headlines in 1999 when Tamara Sr. attempted, this is the sad part of the story. So the woman who was, found this supposed or alleged alien creature was hospitalized in a mental hospital. And in 1999, this woman, Tamara Sr., attempted to flee the institution where she was being treated for mental illness. On a night in September, she was seen on a wooded road outside the facility. Attempts to hail her went unanswered when suddenly out of the darkness came a speeding car running down and killing the elderly woman in what looked to be a deliberate hit and run. Some conspiracy theorists suggest that there was more to this death due to the reports that she was going to be placed under hypnosis to recount the entire experience of finding this creature. So we're left with more questions and few answers, and although the case may be closed, there is a newfound appreciation for the story, which now appears to grow with each recounting of the story, and this we see is very common. So friends, what was Aloyshenka? Was it truly, an underdeveloped, deformed human fetus, a premature birth that was left out in the woods because it was deformed? Was it the result of radioactive fallout that may have caused the human deformity? Or was a genuine alien being found in those Russian woods that day in 1996? Was it perhaps an alien that had lost its ride home? Was it an alien that was separated from its crewmates? And did they really come back to gather it later? One possibility, however, it should be important to this story that the woman that found the so-called alien baby, again, was later hospitalized for mental illness. But I believe that the daughter-in-law seemed pretty lucid, pretty sane to me, and the daughter claimed that the baby was alive and that this elderly woman would feed it. I'd be interested to see what she was feeding it, and why not give what you think is a newborn baby milk, right? Why are you feeding it something else? But apparently she was feeding it solid food, which is strange to me. And did the Russian government, did they want to cover up? There have been conspiracy theories and reports that people were threatened, made to sign non-disclosure agreements, their families threatened, their lives threatened to keep quiet about the incident. That I find very strange. This is one of those stories. Could it be real? Yeah. Or it could be something as simple as a premature deformed baby left out in the woods. And I find either possibility, like a baby left out in the woods, that is a sad, tragic thing. Or if it was indeed an alien that somehow got marooned here on planet Earth, again, that's sad and tragic. The media coverage and interest in this story, according to my Russian contact, has pretty much waned, and no one has talked about the story in quite some time. The story, he says, has been met with mostly skepticism, but there is some would say there is an equal amount of credible evidence that this could not have been a human, which is interesting to me. So no one really denies that something was found in the forest outside of Kishtim. And whatever it was, it really touched the life of this elderly woman. She believed that she treated it like her own baby. And that, my friends, may say something about human kindness, something about human compassion, that this woman found this deformed creature in the woods and still treated it with love and respect and tried to care for it. Maybe those aliens learned something about the human race from this poor elderly woman. And with that, my friends, we will turn our total attention to the live chat. If you have comments, questions for me, please do put them in all caps. Remember my vision impairment, and the all caps really does help me. Pete Dini, can you give me the other link? I'd rather not use Facebook. Yes, Pete, if you want to come to, you got to come to YouTube. If you look on my Facebook profile, I gave the link to the show on YouTube, and you can come and be involved in our live chat and discussion here. And it's good to see an old rock friend of mine from ages ago. I haven't seen Pete in a long time. I hope you and your family are doing well. So you can just click on the link that I put on Facebook for the show tonight. UFO Gandalf says, this is a good topic. I was enjoying watching. Yes, thank you, UFO Gandalf. I really want to focus on some of the lesser known stories that we don't hear very much about in our so-called strange land of Conspiracyville, UFO land, whatever you want to call this strange community. There's some incredible stories out there that we don't really hear much about. And, this one, I believe, is one of the great story. And I have not heard very much about this story. So I wanted to bring it to you guys. And I did do I did my best to do some of my own research, but it's very difficult, this taking place in Russia. So I reached out to sort of a friend of a friend who's in Russia and is a UFO investigator, and he's written a book, I believe. Maybe we'll have him on as a guest to talk about this. If we can find enough new information about this specific case, we will do a part 2. But I can't promise anything because Igor, this Russian gentleman, and I talked about this back and forth, and he's kind of coming up empty, trying to dig up anything more than what is generally already out there about the story. But he agrees with me that we need to get to the scientist that did the DNA tests and interview that scientist and get more details about these DNA tests. Also to find out if any samples still exist and might be retested with much more modern DNA technology that we have today. We should be able to get much more information on the DNA. If it can be sequenced too, maybe it can be sequenced today and it couldn't be back then. I would be very interested in speaking to the actual Russian scientist. Genocide, I like bedtime stories, fun channel. Yes, and Fair Use, I was reading from their video some of the information, especially about her being killed by a hit and run. That's really terrible. It's tragic. Okay, he is handling it without gloves, and it is an alien, or it might be an alien. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't put on gloves to handle something like it's a biological specimen. It's probably not a good idea. Yeah, there could be all kinds of contagions, right? There could be alien germs, there could be alien bacteria, there could be all manner of things on that thing. I don't know why you would touch it without gloves. That's kind of funny. Pete Dini says acid. Yeah, Pete, on my other YouTube channel, I have the original attempt. We never really finished this album, but I took like the rough mixes and put it on my other YouTube channel, and that you can find just by searching Steve Cambion on YouTube. EB says, Stephen, not even worried. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll just touch this thing. Genocide says, I got 2 streams going. He's over in the Twitch chat, which I like. You know what I'm finding funny is that people are, I could see like one show we had 5 people or 7 people in the Twitch chat. And then the Twitch stream ends, and then I look and it says 0 views. So I don't understand what's going on with Twitch. I'm going to have to look into that. I think maybe it takes quite a long time for them to count the views, because then the next day it'll say 10 views, or I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. Oh, let me get all caught up. Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic makes a good point. Maybe that's why the old lady fell sick all of a sudden. Could be. There could have been some kind of alien, germs. Professor Fez, the stretch head is where it was pulled out with a hook during the abortion. It may have lived for a little while. Wow, that's another sad possibility. Thanks, Professor Fez. What a downer. Could have been. It could very well have been that some Russian girl or woman went out in the woods and did her own abortion and just left the fetus there, and it survived for a time. That is another possibility. William Pixley, what does your Russian guy say about Skinny Bob? He believes that it is a cleverly crafted hoax. We did talk about that case as well. But he could provide no evidence. It's just his feeling that that's a cleverly crafted hoax. But yeah, I'm still on the fence about Skinny Bob. It's my favorite alien video ever. I got no notice, and my subpage says the show isn't live now. Sorry, Vanessa. I'm going to start. I did some testing today. I'm going to take Jean-Claude from Beyond Mystic's advice, and I'm going to schedule shows in advance, and they'll be on the channel. And I'll put in the description what time they're going to play so that everybody knows when the shows happen. But generally, Monday through Wednesday, we do a show at 10 p.m. On Thursday, and this is today, we do a show at 11 p.m. So that schedule should continue. But I am going to try to add some daytime streams. And, Professor Fez mentions there is a hole in the back of its head. Yeah, it could have been, that sort of your theory about it could have been a self-performed abortion with some kind of a coat hanger or a hook. That is sad, but that could very well be. Genocide says, I was on time and I am high. Yeah. Great. Yeah, so if you have any questions or comments for me, friends, please do put them in all caps. Just a note about how to support the show. There's a few ways to support our show here. If you like this kind of content and want to see me continue with this show, there's a Patreon donate button on our About page. You can become a Patreon supporter, and you get lots of free goodies and a backstage pass. I do an audio journal every month, sort of talking about what's going on behind the scenes with the show, what's coming up, what's good. That's included with the Patreon. And also, basically, any project I'm working on, the Patreon people get it first. I'm happy to say that the final Mind Hack demo will be delivered to my Patreon supporters. And at that point, they'll have the entire audio of the thing. But there's more to the Mind Hack system in the form of videos set to the audio that we've already got just about completed now. And the Mind Hack system will be a commercial and retail-ready product within the next month. But the Patreon supporters get it first. For those that are not familiar with the Mind Hack system, it is a combination. It's my own personal system that I've been developing, quite honestly, and using on myself for years. It's a system designed to hack your mind for success, to hack your mind to prevent procrastination, to make you overcome obstacles. It's a combination of binaural beats, hypnotic inductions, guided meditations, and also a lot of motivational speaking by me. So if you want me to like yell at you every morning to get up off your ass and let's go after this dream you have, that's kind of what that part of it is. I'm very proud of this mind hack thing because I learned some time ago that these binaural beats, at least for me, are very, very helpful. We are including a binaural beat for each brainwave state. And these binaural beats can help you get into either a relaxed brainwave state or, an active concentrating brainwave state. I have been using these type of things for years, and I'm interested in human potential and sort of what I'm kind of interested in the differences between people. Why is it that some people achieve amazing things, right? And other people just are not able to do anything extraordinary. There are just some people that I feel like they have an extraordinary ability to manifest whatever it is that they want to do. They go after it and they do it. And I wanted to know the difference. So I began studying human potential at a young age. All of this stuff, Tony Robbins, personal power, and Les Brown, and how to win friends and influence people, and all of this human potential stuff, I've been interested in some time, and I've sort of wrapped a lot of that into this mind hack system. And the system is designed so that you can take this course, watch these videos, listen to these audio tracks, and they will help you achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. I've always been very interested in why some people can just say they're going to do something and they do it. I've done some crazy things in my life, and it's really interesting to me that most often the people, even close friends or family, would say things to me like, "You're not going to be able to do that. You don't know anything about that." But I figure it out and I do it. And I really do believe I'm able to do things that most people are not able to do. Does that mean I have superpowers? No, that just means I have a little bit more knowledge about how to overcome obstacles, how to avoid procrastination, how to go after those dreams that I have with gusto and passion and glory, right? With connection to the source. Anything is possible. And I talk about all this in the mind hack system. I'm sorry, kind of veering way off course here. The point is, the Patreon people are getting this mind hack system for free. Well, not really free. You have to pay $1 a month or more. But every time I finish a piece of this mind hack product, it goes on the Patreon, and the Patreon supporters get access to it. Many people are already emailing me how much they think that this course, what kind of value they think that it has, and how much it has helped them to focus more, to be more passionate about going after those things that they're trying to accomplish. And again, it's just a combination of many different things. I wondered very young, I sort of developed the prototype of the system that is in really development now, this mind hack system. Long time ago, years ago, I developed this system using these binaural beats, and I would listen to this positive reinforcement after listening to a hypnotic induction so that it would really, really sink into my subconscious. There's so many really just kind of secret things about how to get ahead of getting at what you want to manifest in this system. And even in pieces on the Patreon, I'm getting a lot of nice messages about how valuable people think it is. And I'm very excited about it. Hopefully it's going to be finished by next month and for sale. Here on this show, we'll be the first person selling it. I'm reaching out to some other shows to sort of play my commercials and drive people to purchase it. But if you're a Patreon supporter, you get it first. The other way to support me is a PayPal donate button. There is a PayPal donate button, and you too can send me your money. And the Patreon, the PayPal money really, really helps because, just things that I need, I purchase from that. Like I purchased paint and the mask making and mask materials to do that. Crazy thing we did on the David Wilcox Box of Dildos challenge, and I just used some of the PayPal donations for that. Purchased a better microphone from the PayPal donations. The Patreon money goes to, I bought some of the webcams, the backdrop, the lighting. Everything here is viewer supported, which I'm very proud of, and I just want to thank each and every one of you who have either donated or become a Patreon supporter. It means a great deal to me that people value what it is that I'm doing, because honestly, after this Rona hit, I started getting depressed. I had nothing to do. I have all of my goals got blown to shit, and I was unable to do a lot of the things that I had planned to do after this Rona hit. So I sort of refocused my energy into doing this show, which was a big, huge project on my to-do list, but I could never get to do it's so much work to do all these videos and to do the research and to build the set and get the technical aspects working. But since I had all this time due to the Rona, I was able to get at it and get it done. And all of you helped me make this possible. You have my sincere gratitude. I'm so thankful. Oh, Trump's dad was super into human potential and the power of positive thinking to an addictive, destructive level. I have heard that, Vanessa Thor. Vanessa Thor says, I have the power. Absolutely. Let's see. UFO Gandalf says, by the power of Grayskull. Yeah, we were talking earlier on Twitter about He-Man toys, and I got to tell you, I miss He-Man toys. I grew up with He-Man toys. He-Man was awesome. My thing I went from He-Man. Well, actually, I guess first it was Star Wars toys, then it was He-Man, and then it was G.I. Joe. And my mother and father, I had all of this stuff in boxes. Some of it at the house that they had in Jersey, and it all got thrown out in the trash, I guess. And some of it at their house. And, when I left home, they just kind of tossed everything that belonged to me that I left. So I lost all that stuff. By the power of Grayskull, your mind hack is badass. Thank you, Vanessa. I think I sent you some of the files. I'd appreciate a testimonial. That's what I need from you people, too. I would like testimonials from people. So even if you're not a Patreon supporter, and I tell everybody this, too, if you really are that interested in my work and you really don't have $1 a month, it's rough times right now. Just email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com, and I'll share all the Patreon benefits with you. And, hopefully you can support me in another way, like commenting, sharing, subscribing, sharing our videos on social media. And I've been telling everybody this, and I really do think it's working because I'm seeing the sub count jump up as I continue in this mantra. And here is the mantra. We all know people that are interested in these strange and mysterious subjects besides us. I know lots of people that are interested in this stuff. You probably do too. So I'm asking everybody, please, friends, copy the YouTube channel address. If somebody could put that in a live chat, that would make it even easier for people. You just take that YouTube, our channel address, and email some of your friends that are interested in these subjects. DM them on Twitter, PM them on Facebook, send them a message on all your social media. Try to help us to get the audience to be a larger audience, because we would certainly benefit from a larger audience, and I need your help to do that. Jeanette Krasenko says, praise the cash. Yes, praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. You too can send me some money on PayPal. I need people to click that donate button link. Praise the cash, and praise the YouTube algorithm too. My life is being decided right now by a YouTube algorithm. The AI gods are upon us, friends, and they are not kind gods so far in my estimation. Joe Manna 821 is in our Twitch chat. Welcome, Joe Manna 821. It is good to see that some people are jumping into the Twitch chat lately. I hope that we can get just as good as a great discussion group in the Twitch chat as we already have here in the YouTube live chat. Nice to see you, Joe Mana 821. You are most welcome here on Truthseekers. UFO Gandalf loved his He-Man. Jeanette Krasenko, I'm interested in the mind hack. I have mastered procrastination so well. I should probably go and try the other way. Yeah, I am a big believer in and it's really a lot of common sense advice that I give in this mind hack system. Things like, do those things you really don't want to do with your day first. Today I had to cut the grass, and I have a ride on, so it's not that hard, but I also had a weed whack because like every 2 or 3 times I cut the grass, I also have to run around with a weed whacker with all those, with those places that I can't get into with the ride on because it's big. And I hate weed whacking because I only have an electric weed whacker, and you got to plug it in, so I got to run like 100-foot cord all around. It's such a I hate doing it, but it's just my nature now. I don't want to do this. Let's get it done. Let's just get it done, and then we can feel good about ourselves that we accomplished that thing, especially those things that we didn't want to do. It's easy to just lay on the couch and say I'll do that tomorrow. It's difficult to develop the discipline to get things done. And I believe that that's the difference between people who really excel at life and people who are sort of flailing or not doing great, is the ability to not procrastinate, to go after those things. We all have responsibilities. We all have things we don't really want to do. I make it a point, do those things first. Get it done, get it out of the way, and then you can go on with the rest of your day and spend some time doing something that you enjoy more. And Jeanette, I'd be happy to share it with you. Just email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com. That would be great. Would love to, but I can't prove anything, so I don't talk about the real stuff I've seen. Well, I'd like to hear about that. Absolutely would like to hear about that. So, friends, I'm not sure about broadcasts either tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday. We may be taking a few days off. I'm going to the cabin with my family, but we don't have any guests, so it's very likely that I'll be able to do a few shows from the cabin. And again, those would probably be somewhere around 9 or 10 p.m. I'm not really sure, but if I'm going to do a live stream from the cabin, I will make sure that I broadcast that on Twitter and Facebook and let everybody know that we'll be back over the weekend. I have a lot of shows prepped and planned. I'm going to take a folder of this stuff, and I'm also going to just email myself a bunch of stuff for the upcoming shows. I'd like to get some more of that stuff. Keith Hasselmeyer, pay the gardener. I have a woman, our next door neighbor has probably the biggest lawn service around here. Her and her housemate there also work together. And yeah, I think that if my financial condition improves in the future, I'm going to just pay them because, they're going to give me sort of the friends and family rate. It's not very expensive. And then it's one thing off my list. I just don't, I won't have to worry about that. I'd like to do that. But the other part of me thinks I'm a little too blue collar, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just the way that I grew up. You don't pay somebody to cut your grass. You get a lawnmower and you do it yourself. It's not that hard, and you save the money for other things. Everybody in my neighborhood pays somebody. I don't see almost anybody cutting their own grass around here. I'm one of the few people that I know that cuts their own grass. And I don't know. Like I said, I feel funny paying somebody to do that. I feel like that's my responsibility. Why am I going to, to me, it seems like wasting money. But then I think about the time saved, like I could just pay them a few bucks and then I could accomplish something else while they're outside cutting my grass. I could be in here prepping another show or doing something. I may give it a try. We'll see what happens. Jonaside says, I have a bad case of working early tomorrow, so I'm out. Much love. Yeah. Good to see you, though, Jonaside. You get some rest, Rockstar. Okay, let's see. The Apocalypse Cabin. Yes, we're heading to the Apocalypse Cabin for the weekend, and I can't wait to go. Should be a little more relaxing this weekend without like 4 or 5 guests, you know. I and also the summer is really winding down, which I'm sad to see because soon it's going to be freezing cold at the cabin. Even in September and October, it'll be 40 at night or 30 at night. So I'm always really sad to see the summer go, especially at the cabin. It gets really freezing cold there, and I'm not a fan of cold temperatures or snow, but I do like the solitude and the silence there in the winter. It's really something to behold. Trying to think if there was any other business. I'm checking to see if there's any PayPal donations, and it looks like no, we don't have any PayPal donations to shout out. And that is okay. So, friends, I think we're going to wrap things up here. Our next show is something I'm really looking forward to. I did sort of a deep dive on Padre Pio. If you don't know who Padre Pio is, do yourself a favor and look him up because we're going to do a deep dive on Padre Pio. It's an amazing story. This man had the stigmata. He talked to demons and angels. He could heal people, even of terminal illnesses. There's multiple reports of him healing terminally ill patients, and all manner of miracles have been attributed to Padre Pio by the Catholic Church. They, shortly after his death, canonized him a saint. His body is incorruptible. What does that mean? His body has not decayed, has not rotted. It's just a great story. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that next on Truth Seekers. So please stay tuned for our next show. And well, friends, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. It is good to see so many new faces, too. We saw a few new people in the Twitch chat, which I'm always glad to see. So, friends, I suppose we're going to wrap the show up here. And until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. God bless and good night.